Let's be real. Starting, running, and scaling a coaching business can feel exhausting. I mean, you've got the marketing, the hustling, the selling, all that stuff you didn't realize you would need to master when you decided to start a coaching business. For anything like me, you started your coaching business to change the world, to improve the lives of others while improving your own. Well, the truth is, running a business doesn't have to be as hard as many of us have made it out to seem. And you don't even have to do all that hustling stuff if you don't want to. You really can get into flow, into your zone of genius, and get back to the work you were sent here to do. But you have to ask for help. You have to be willing to work in new ways. You have to be willing to open up your mind to mentors who might be doing it differently than you've ever considered. And you have to be willing to actually implement new ways of thinking and running your business. If you're up for that, stay tuned. I'm Hannah Hermanson, your certified coach, international speaker, author, and yes, the founder of Dream Life is Real Life and the host of this show. And I've been able to help hundreds of coaches build, scale, and enjoy their online businesses. Essentially, make their dream life their real life. And if you'd like help improving your business life and get your coaching business to the next level, we might be able to help you. Head on over to dreamlifeisreallife.com/show to get all the resources and episodes that we talk about in this community. You can join our Facebook community, you can find me on Instagram, but more importantly, if you're really ready to integrate what you learn here today and on other episodes, then you'll be able to set up a complimentary 10-minute chat with my team. Again, at dreamlifeisreallife.com/show, no strings attached. We love getting to know you and seeing what are the right next moves for you. But now let's get on to the show. In this podcast, you'll find the real people, concrete tactics, and weekly motivation and inspiration to make your dream life and business real. I started this podcast to bring you the role models that I never had. We talk to successful entrepreneurs, freedom seekers, business owners, and people living life on their own terms. To be a true leader, to create the legacy you desire, and to live in alignment, you need a tribe lifting you up. And I've made it my mission to be your tribe, to bring them to your ears at least, because after all, we are all in this together. Now, let's cue the music. Welcome back, everyone. Today, I am hanging out virtually with Lorraine Dallmeier. She is the award-winning CEO of Formula Botanica, the online organic cosmetic formulation and business school, which has trained over 11,000 organic cosmetic formulators and indie beauty entrepreneurs in almost 200 countries. She's been voted the most influential person in natural beauty and awarded the Digital Achiever of the Year award for the cosmetics industry by Google. She's on a mission to show female entrepreneurs that through hard work, determination, and drive, they can also achieve sustainable online business success and be beautiful while doing it, right?
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, I am so excited. We were chatting a little bit beforehand. I think we have a lot in common to share here today, and we're on similar missions to help women build their businesses online. But you have a product. And I don't always talk to people with products. I talk to a lot of folks with services, or expertise, right? Coaches and consultants. So I'd love to know what brought you here? What inspired you to kind of start your own business or even your first product?
Well, thank you, first of all, for having me on the podcast, Hannah. It's really lovely to be here. So I suppose it all started when I was on maternity leave 10 years ago. I now have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I wanted to break free from my corporate job. I didn't want to work for other people anymore.
Yeah.
I wanted to be my own boss. So I basically quit what I was doing, and I bought a small online training course, which I'd been studying myself because I had decided that I wanted to make my own skincare business. So here's some examples of people who've trained with us. And I wanted to do that too. I was like, right, this is my opportunity. This is my ticket out of here. So I took this online course. I loved it. And then I thought, this is my big break when I had this opportunity to take this on because it had already changed my life. So I basically bought Formula Botanica lock, stock and barrel when I was on maternity leave as a one-woman side hustle. By this point, I should add, I had already launched my own iPhone app. I didn't rest on my laurels during maternity leave. I launched a DIY beauty app. I was watching the BBC's Apprentice on TV, and I thought, if these guys can do it, so can I.
I feel that way about Shark Tank now. I'm like, they have no idea how to market this. Like, I could do that.
Exactly. So I sat there going, yeah. They could do that. So can I. Even though I'm sleep deprived out of my mind, I'm here with my 4-month-old baby. I'm going to do this as well. So I already had some online business success. And then I thought, okay, well, let's take this a step further. So I started training people on how to make their own natural skincare. And at first, I was just working by myself. It was my little side hustle as well. Everyone was like, it's Lorraine's pet project. It's her little hobby. And then it really started to take off. And here we are. I mean, I'm condensing a lot of work to a very short sentence here, but here we are 7 years later. I now have about 40 staff. Last year, we sold $5 million worth of courses. We are the leading online education provider in cosmetic formulation. And we're taking the world on and teaching everyone how to formulate. So it's been a wild ride getting here.
Yeah, I love that because although, maybe surface level, you have a product or you have products, you've still taken those same principles of wanting something different or better for yourself, figuring it out, and then turning around and helping other people do the same. And I find that the most successful people, the ones who, yes, earn a lot of money, but also stay in it for more than like 18 months, are the ones who figure out not only how to take care of themselves, but how to take care of others. And so when it sounds like it was kind of immediate, it was that you realized that you could help other people do the same. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I realized how life-changing this was because ultimately, we're all going back to our roots, right? We want to learn how to make our own clothes. We want to cook our own food. We want to craft. Making your own cosmetics is a natural extension of that. And it is huge. I mean, often when I talk particularly to a lot of men, I'm going to generalize here, but they're always like, is there really a market for this? Aren't you going to saturate the market? But realistically, and I see this in our communities, we have, as you say, over 11,000 students. Pretty much every woman I've met wants to learn how to make her own beauty products. Either to
without all the junk, right?
I know, right? And it's so simple. That's the other thing. Formulation is fun and it's easy and it's straightforward. So I realized how life-changing this was. And I thought, I'm really going to go with this.
Amazing.
And by the way, can I just say, I completely agree with what you said about sticking with something for more than 18 months, because I can't even begin to tell you how many business owners I've seen change continuously. Right. So I'm very much like head down, let's keep going, let's drive forward and let's make this a success.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the 18 months thing is, it's those types of people who get in it for the quick hit, the get rich quick, I'm going to leave my job, I'm going to be a millionaire. And they're not thinking about like the longer term impact. And something you said about just that I can feel your energy and your excitement that like people need this. Like it's so simple. They don't know about it. And it's that energy coupled with the, like you said, hard work and grit and determination that does make a brand and a business and an entrepreneur last. So I would love to know when you had that excitement, when you had that realization, like so many people need this, what were some of your first steps? You don't just do 5 million in sales next week. So where did you start? What was kind of the ground floor of this?
I think the first thing for me was to really make the experience for our students, our customers, the very best it could be. And that's maybe not the most logical place to start, because I think a lot of people would be like, well, I'm going to put money into ads and I'm going to grow social media and I'm going to go and do public speaking or whatever. But for me, it was making sure that the product we were selling was the very best it could be. So I, first of all, rebuilt the platform like every year for about 5 years. So it was a big overhaul continuously. I invested huge amounts of cash into refilming everything, in rewriting all of the courses, hiring experts, really building out a team, building a great customer support experience, basically. So heavily investing in the quality to make sure that it would continue to be life-changing and also market leading. So for me, it's really important that quality is the overriding factor in what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very much the first thing. And then after that, I started to really teach myself digital marketing techniques. So things like launches, how to use social media, how to be visible like this, really. And after that, yeah, it just took off like wildfire, because of course, when you've got a product that people want, it changes people's lives, exactly as you said.
Yeah.
And you know how to market it, then you've got the winning solution, really.
Yeah. Yeah. In one of our programs, our inner circle. So it's kind of like our mastermind or higher end program. We teach the 3 R's: results, retention, and referrals. And it sounds like you really focused on the 3 R's in prioritizing customer support, client success. Because if you can do that, if you can change lives, you will have clients come back to you, retention, and bring people to you. Did you find that to be true at the beginning?
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? Even the referral part nowadays, we haven't put that much effort into sort of proceduralizing it or building systems around it, but it is so strong for us because people come at the back end of our courses and they've loved what they've learned. I mean, we have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Trustpilot, which is amazing. And they go and tell people and they want to shout about it from the rooftops. Mm-hmm. But then they also go and launch brands. And that is the most powerful referral of all, because here's a tangible result that someone has created by going through our courses.
Yeah.
You know, this is a brand called Kiss Kiss Goodnight, who's in Maryland, USA. Amazing baby skincare brand. Lovely. Like this brand, By Bee, they've just raised over $7 million in investment funding, and they're about to be launched into 1,800 targets in the US. It's just phenomenal. And so the results speak for themselves, because these people have a great experience studying with us. And then they stand there and they go, I studied with Formula Botanica and I achieved this. And then they take us along for the ride as well. So, you know, when they're launched in Target, we're like, hey, they're all graduates. And they go, yeah, we studied with them. And wow, what a phenomenal thing to achieve.
Yeah. Or really rich network, right?
Yes.
Of people out doing good things. That ripple effect is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I'd love to shift gears a little bit, kind of thinking more about you growing the business, because getting great results, identifying the problem and the solution that you provide, we talk a lot about on the show, but something we don't always talk about is team building. And it sounds like that was something you did early on, and well, because you now have 40 people on your team and you're probably growing. So when would you recommend solopreneurs start thinking about team?
Gosh, that's a big question. First of all, I would say it's been a real trial and error process. So whilst it may appear that I have done well, it has been an absolute roller coaster getting to 40 and getting to the right 40 as well. When do you start? I think you start once you want to take one of those hats off, because we all wear 100 hats when we're solopreneurs, right? And for me, that was straight away. Like, there are some things I do not want to do ever. Like, I do not do my own tax returns. I just don't. The first time I did one, I cried my whole way through it. And I was like, never again. Another thing that I have never done, although I've had to get involved with it quite a lot, but I've never run it, is human resources, HR. It's not my bag. I've had lots of different HR consultants work with me over the years, but you can sort of scale up. Like, you can start with outsourcing it to a contractor who can do a few hours a day or a few hours a week even. And then you scale it up. And over time, maybe they do, you know, a week, a month for you. And then over time, you may suddenly think, wow, I'm big enough now to actually start taking on employees and thinking about pensions and thinking about holiday allowance. And, you know, that's where we are now. So it has been a real trial and error process getting there. And I have made so many mistakes along the way. I mean, that's probably been the biggest learning experience for me, actually, because I'm very much sort of head down, just get the job done. and then having to somehow let go of work, first of all, to other people. That was a big challenge in the beginning, because, it's your baby. You don't want to let it go.
Yeah.
But then also having to, build teams within teams and have faith in people. You have to just let go and hope for the best and work with them to create a really strong team.
I totally appreciate that honesty, and that it wasn't just like magic wand, dream team is here and ready to go to work, right? And the other piece, I really appreciate what you mentioned around, thinking about contractors, thinking about hourly people. I always encourage my clients to think about interns, local college students who are developing a skill set that you don't want to develop, or, isn't in that zone of genius for you. Because when we try, I learned this the hard way. This is one of my mistakes for sure, was being a solopreneur and trying to get good at all the hats. So there's definitely a time when you have to cry through some finances or mess up some Facebook ads. But I spent too many months, I think, trying to become great at things that I don't want to do and I'm not naturally good at, instead of identifying collaborations and partnerships and win-win scenarios, because there are accountant geniuses. Let them do the thing and let's all save the tears, right?
Yeah. And you're quite right. Partnerships is a really big word there, because in the beginning, you may not have the money to hire staff. So what I used to do is I would build connections with people, and then we would barter and exchange things. I'm quite good at video editing. So, I knew someone who could offer me some free advertising on her website. I made her a video. I wanted to get some publicity in a different place. I made them something in return, so often you have skills that someone else doesn't have. And they may say to you, if you want this from me, it's going to cost you X, and you might actually have something of value to them. Mm-hmm. So that was a really good way for me in the very, very early days as well to get started.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sidebar for people who are listening. I actually started this podcast to grow my network. I'm not an extrovert. I don't want to go to dinner and do the small talk thing, but I knew I didn't have enough social capital when I was at a certain place in my business to have those partnerships. I wanted people to offer that exchange, and I wasn't exactly sure. So I just started a podcast because I can talk. And now this is one of those win-win opportunities that I get to present. Hey, come be interviewed on my show. I'll promote you. And I'm also going to get to learn from you, and maybe you'll have a resource or a connection for me afterwards. So if you don't even know where to start, that's one idea, is to just start doing interviews or set up a podcast to grow that social capital that we're talking about.
Totally. Just try and connect with people in whatever way works best for you. When I first started, this was, 8-9 years ago, I was on Twitter a lot, and I would take part in tweet hours, and I would get to know bloggers. And I remember one really cool thing I did in the beginning was I published a blog post on the 7 best beauty bloggers you should be following right now. And I didn't pick big ones. I picked ones that were relatively niche. And because of that, they took note of my blog post, got really excited about it, retweeted it, built up a connection with me. That was a really nice way to start. And in fact, I think one of those beauty bloggers, if I remember correctly, I got to know her so well. I'm fairly sure I put her in the article. She now works in my team. I hired her. When we had an opportunity, I was like, I want you in my team. You're amazing. So this
is the stuff I love. I love these timeless principles that building relationships, adding value to other people is always a savvy business move. Just this week, I've been noticing I've been feeling drained by some questions about, Hannah, what should my hashtags be? What about the algorithm? How many stories do I need? And all of that is just so unimportant to me. I can tell you what I know about algorithms and social media platforms, but that stuff changes. I mean, I don't even have a Twitter, and you started your business there. We didn't even have social, stories are so new. And now there's Clubhouse and TikTok. Yeah. I can't keep up with the fads, but what we can double down on in any industry, in any era, is the power of your network. I love that this is coming through right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes through the same for your customers as well. They are your network too. And we talked about this earlier, of course, in terms of referrals. These are the people who you need to invest your time in, and you need to, I always say you have to be generous with your time, and you have to be, really kind with your time as well, because the investment you make now will pay off in bucket loads in the future. And one thing I do a lot of is free mentoring, which just happens ad hoc. I get to know local business owners, and then I build up a relationship with them, and I'm like, hey, do you want to have a chat about this? And they're like, yeah, I do. I really do. And then we end up doing like an hour every 2 months or something. And it's just something I really enjoy doing because I get to help them. But I know that if it ever flips the other way, they will be there for me as well. And that's how you build a network.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Yeah. Huge takeaways there. And I think the element of non-attachment is really important. Like, we don't always know where it's going to lead or like what that mentorship is going to pan out to be. Like, maybe they buy your lotion. Maybe they send you a referral. Maybe they promote you on their, billboard. And I think having just that like true curiosity and coming with like a sense of pleasure. Right. Because I've definitely made the mistake of networking and like, so how are we going to send each other money? How's that going to work out? But it so often comes, like we've said, in internships or down the line in unexpected ways. But investing good energy does pay off when it comes to your social capital.
Absolutely, it does. It always comes back to you. We have to put kindness out into the world, I think.
Yeah. So we're recording this in the first week of 2020. You mentioned you just went back into a lockdown over in the UK, and I'm feeling this like this sense that everyone's still kind of holding their breath. And I would love to know from your perspective of what are some of the things that you think are going to be really true in 2021 when it comes to marketing and business? Do you sense change? Do you have a feeling about any themes that we might want to be aware of? Totally just curious.
I think for me, the biggest thing, and this probably won't come as a surprise given what we've been talking about, is all about going back to the old school ways of marketing, basically. I see so many people try and cut corners, right? They want to go fast. They want to just invest money in ads. They're just flushing money down the toilet. Let's be fair. But I think it's going to start to get even harder to make money that way. And really and truly, the best way to do it is through old school content marketing and just, again, I suppose in a way, building relationships, giving your community what they want from you. So we're really strong on content marketing. I've been blogging since 2001. I was a very keen early adopter of the internet, sort of begged my parents to get it in 1995.
Wow.
Never looked back.
That's really
when after I designed my first website. But if you build content that people want to read, they will start to follow you. They'll want to hear from you. They will come and visit your website and they'll get to know your brand. And so we are all about content. We put out a piece of content every week. Yeah. When I first started with Formula Botanica, we were getting 1,000 hits a month on the website. Now we get like 400,000 sessions a month. I think it's something like that. It's crazy. And that's over a 7-year period. So I think that is always going to be the winning way in terms of digital marketing, because if you start to cut corners, then you haven't built those strong foundations yet. And that's where you have to start. Also, looking at social media, I think it's going to get harder with some of the social media platforms. They generate so much controversy, particularly platforms like Facebook and Instagram. So that makes it even more important to have an asset that's yours, that's strong, and where, again, those foundations really shine. So I'd say that's my big thing for 2021 and beyond. And that's certainly where I will be investing a lot of my time.
I could have like slid you this like under the table, be like, hey, say this. This will be really good for this. Because I preach this all the time. I could not agree with you more. Like, personally, as a case study of this idea, I have Facebook newsfeed eradicator. I don't see anyone's posts. I don't see ads. I log into Facebook. I see my messages and an inspirational quote. So like ads don't work on me. On Instagram, I post my story and then my team does the rest. Like, I'm not like scrolling and just whatever. Like, every investment and partnership and coach and team member has come through my network, has come through like these types of conversations or, other associations or masterminds that I'm a part of. And I completely agree that like creating some sort of brand that people are drawn into and want to join a conversation with you. Not that you're like blasting ads at them, but you're inviting them into conversation, right? And that's what I think content marketing, blogging, having a great web presence, and also video. I'm finding, I think that's one of my like hunches is that video is going to be where the most engagement comes from because we're craving social interaction, not just screen time, but like real conversation.
Yeah. We just hired a video editor full time. Actually, he started with us a month ago. So actually this week, I mean, it's Tuesday. We've already put out 2 videos this week already. So it's working, and that's, I think, exactly what you say. The other thing is email marketing. Every single year since I've started, someone has said to me, does email marketing really still work?
Isn't it dead? Isn't email dead? Like, well, let me ask how much time you just spent on it today.
I know. I'm always surprised when someone says that to me because I'm like, well, I just made $5 million with emails. So I think it works. Like we have all these really sophisticated automated funnels that sit behind how we operate. It's taken us years and years to build them. And they churn out emails for people who've opted in for them. We get tens of thousands of new leads a month. I think back in October, we hit the 1 million emails in a month mark. And I just sat there and went, whoa, that's a lot. But everyone has requested them. They want them and they want this content because we're constantly churning out content that people want to read. And that's just how marketing works. That's how successful marketing works.
Yeah, that brings me to another feeling I have about 2021, which is going to be this emphasis on permission-based marketing, right? Like I have opted out of Facebook newsfeed. I don't want to see those things. And that's as again, we're like conversation, whether it's in, getting into someone's inbox or actually speaking directly with them and at like getting the permission, right? This like the spamming, just throwing spaghetti on the refrigerator thing, I don't think is working for anyone. So I love that, opt in and keep giving them what they ask for. Nothing over that.
No, I know. And, we teach online. That's our thing. So all of our opt-ins are free stuff where we teach online. It's beautiful. I mean, last year we signed up 140,000 people to our free training programs. And it actually, for me, the most exciting thing about that isn't the fact that we got 140,000 new leads. It's about the fact that we helped 140,000 people.
Yes.
And I know that there will be a percentage of those who will come and enroll for our courses. That's awesome. Totally excited about that. But I also love all the people who go, I went through your free stuff and you've changed my life with that. I find that really humbling because that means we are having this huge global impact in 170 countries to date. And that's why my whole team does what we do. We're passionate about that. And we really want to help people. And when you get these wonderful messages, these heartwarming messages from all over the world, that's, makes it all worthwhile, really.
Yeah. And this comes back to that energy of so many people need this. I need to get it out. Not that I need to pad my bank account, but like, I need to teach this. People need to know this. And I think this comes back to that trust. If you're in the first 18 months of your business, I know it's about money because you don't have money. Like, I get that. But you absolutely need to like take Lorraine as an example that when you focus on the impact, the longevity, the life-saving, changing opportunity that you can offer to people, that's where sustainability comes from.
Yeah. And it is absolutely about sustainability. This is an interesting little side branch that we're going off down here, but I'm a chartered environmentalist and I studied environmental management. I'm very passionate about sustainability, which is also something I try and bring into the natural skincare and hair care angle. But I often have to point out to people that sustainability also means financial sustainability. And I find this a really interesting point because I often see people, particularly in our beauty community, say, I'm going to start an indie beauty brand. I'm going to give away all my profits to charity, or I'm going to plow everything into this charity here. I'm going to give all of this back here. None of this will come to me. There's a real money mindset thing that a lot of people have going on. I always have to point out that sustainability means you'll still be in business in 3 years' time as well. And if you're giving away all your money, you're not going to be in business in 3 years' time. So you're quite right. Sustainable success also means making money and being comfortable with making money, because how else are you going to have that global impact?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a really powerful piece. And when we can look at money as an energy, as a reflection of the impact that we've put out into the world. I talk to people a lot about money mindset and what it means to make money. And I get some feedback from people who aren't entrepreneurs. Like, why are you always talking about money? Why are you always talking about numbers? Like, why is this? I thought you were about like love and light. And it is this conversation and this connection to the fact that if I have abundance in the money aspect of my life, that means that it's being fueled by the passion that I'm following, the impact that I'm providing. And a lot of our clients have high ticket offers. So they're charging people, they're asking people to invest more than $2,000 in something. And that is always a reflection that you are there's a transformation. Like there's an investment, not a, transaction or a smaller level exchange. It's just money is just another form of energy. If I could say it succinctly, that's how I would say it with you.
It's true. And you see that actually when you give away something for free or for very little money, people don't connect as much value to it. And what was interesting was when I first took over Formula Botanica, all the courses were priced at rock bottom prices because that's just the way it was at the time. And that didn't sit right for me. First of all, it didn't quite work financially. Secondly, I couldn't grow my team. They have to get money as well. I have to pay the people who work for me. So over time, the prices went up. And the audience that we had in the beginning compared to the audience we have now, very, very different, because the people who expect to pay $50 for a course and get lifetime support and be able to email you and call you every week and be able to expect like a free conference ticket and all their ingredients for free. We have people email us and go, you want us to pay $50 and then will you post me all my ingredients and buy me all my equipment? And we're a bit like, no, that doesn't fly.
Yeah.
Those people are very different to the people who do invest $2,000 and say, I'm going to learn how to do this. I'm going to put everything I have into this. This is my passion. I know you've got my back. I know you're going to support me, and I'm going to give it my all in the process. Mm-hmm. Those are the people who are successful. Those are the people who launch brands all over the world and who make money with it. So yeah, you're quite right. It is an energy exchange, really.
People who pay attention.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. And I love that you touched on that, like the expectation of an exchange. And we could go on and on about that, but I think we're kind of speaking to this this idea that you want mutual investment when working with someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the other great thing about making money as a business is that you can support others. So the thing that I loved the most in the beginning was that people were coming to me going, okay, you've hired me as a contractor. I've got a few projects with you a year. I now have enough money to go register my business. I now have enough money to hire my first team member. Last year when lockdown happened, some of our contractors lost all of their clients. I had the opportunity to double, triple, quadruple the amount of work they had with us and bring them in and actually make sure that they didn't have to furlough their staff or even let people go. And that is the impact also that you have. So it's not even just on your customers. It's also on the people around you who make your business what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. That ripple effect. I love the common threads kind of being woven into this here. And do, tie a little bow on this package that the gift you've already given us here. I just have a few final rapid fire questions, if you will. So for people listening who are like, yes, like I want to make that impact. I want to commit to this. I want to invest in starting a business. What is one thing that they can do today to set themselves up for success or take one step closer to their dream life being their real life?
Okay, the first thing that you need to know, and this is a big one, is you need to sit down and think about how your product or your service is going to change someone's life. You have to know this because you're going to be talking about it all the time as well. You're going to be saying to them, I'm going to change your life by doing this. It might not be something that you come up with instantly, but make sure you know what that is. That's the winner.
Yes. Back to that energy of necessity. Like, I have no other option. This has to get out. I use the analogy in our program when people have hesitations about their program or sales. I say, if you had the cure to cancer, how would you be approaching this sales call? Like, if you literally knew you could save their life and people have been looking for this for decades, you have a solution.
Yep.
I love that. Okay. My next question, we've touched on this a little bit and you've kind of mentioned you've made a few mistakes. But if you could look back at yourself starting your business 10 years ago, what would you tell her today?
I would say, don't look at it as a little hobby business. Everyone else may be treating you that way. Very patronizing. You're a woman starting a business. You've got babies. It can't be that serious. And here I am, we bought our dream home. I've retired my partner. We're financially secure. It's fantastic. But obviously I didn't know that was going to happen. And I wish that I'd gone into it with a little bit more confidence and said, don't worry about it. Just go for it. And don't treat it as a hobby. Treat it as something serious.
Yeah. So good. So good. If you dream big, shoot for the moon, you might just land among the stars, as they say, right?
Exactly.
Or in your dream home.
Exactly. And now I have no problem sitting here and saying, I want to teach the whole world to formulate. Even if you don't want to, I'm coming to teach you. But you can have that sort of big vision. And I often talk to our students about, I think it was Bill Gates and I can't remember his business partner's name. When they started Microsoft, they said in the early 80s or late 70s, they wanted every household to have a computer on a desk at home. At that point, people didn't have computers, let alone laptops or smartphones, but they had the vision and it worked.
Absolutely. Well, my last question, since we're on this mission to teach everyone to formulate, and you've already given us so much value, how can listeners continue this conversation, learn more about what you do, and stay connected?
Right. So we are at formulabotanica.com. We are also all over social media. You can find us absolutely everywhere at Formula Botanica, but particularly on Instagram. You can also follow me at Lorraine Dallmeier on Instagram, where I talk more about running my business and also about sustainability a little bit more, because obviously that's a topic I'm very passionate about. So yeah, come and check us out. And we have a free course on our website where you can learn how to formulate and become a formulator or even an indie beauty entrepreneur.
Oh, so good. My first taste of entrepreneurship was actually in multi-level marketing, but I got into it because of the sustainable products and like non-toxic and eco-friendly. So I'm definitely going to go check out some of this myself. I think this is definitely an essential skill for like the 21st century. So thank you.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you.
Yes. No, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate everything that you've shared with us. And I do hope listeners, find you and continue this conversation. I, though, will be back next week with another inspiring guest that will help you all make your dream life your real life.
That's right, friends. That'll do it for our show today. But remember, if you're really ready to implement and take these ideas into action, then hop on over to dreamlifeisreallife.com/show, and you can access all of the resources we talked about, and more importantly, set up a complimentary 10-minute phone call with my team so that we can help you get clarity and some concrete action steps in place, so this doesn't just become another one of those feel-good moments, but an opportunity to actually make a change in your life and business, because all good things come in action. So we'll see you over there at dreamlifeisreallife.com/show and next week here on the show.